It would be very different if the only way that you can gain virtual currency is through in-game play. But it's a very different scenario when you could actually purchase your virtual currency with IRL money. Hey, what's up, YouTube? You already know I'm AllCity with AllCityLiveTV.com, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're finna get into wagers and 2K banning wagers on their platform. First and foremost, I want to say that I think it was 2K's fault from the beginning. It's been 2K's fault. They created an ante-up, a stage, a platform for people and players to wager their virtual currency. And let's talk about how you gain that virtual currency. You can gain virtual currency with an IRL transaction of your real money to purchase virtual currency in-game currency. The other way to gain virtual currency is by actually playing the game non-stop, because they make it so difficult to get virtual currency in the game or gain a large amount of virtual currency, especially if you're out there trying to wager that virtual currency away. Now, again, like I said in the beginning, it's 2K that set the stage for this, incorporated this into the mindset of their player base with the ante-up and stage game modes. Without that, I don't know if the player base would have even come up with the idea to wager IRL money. It was wagers that actually sustained 2K for quite a while now. If like players like Ticino weren't around to wager their IRL money or somebody else's IRL, you got to think about the snakes that come into this as well. When you talk about gambling, when you talk about wagering, and talking about big dollars on top of that, like large amounts of money to wager out, there were people out there that were taking advantage. They would actually, the one individual that was putting up the money for these large wager events, he was actually known for going into different gaming communities and setting up these little schemes. There's videos about him. You could go check him out. I don't even know the guy's name, but he was known for doing this, going in and infiltrating these communities to like create these wager wars or whatnot, or find ways that he could make money himself and using the player bases to kind of make that happen. And he got into 2K and made it a thing, and it actually sustained the 2K franchise for quite a while, because Lord knows what would have happened to 2K back in 2K20 if it wasn't for wagers. Has anybody heard from Ticino? Where's Ticino at? It's all crickets right now. There's no wagers going on, and it's nothing but crickets, because again, wagers have sustained 2K. And as far as giving the 2K franchise that entertainment value, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of players out there were heavily interested in wagers. Now let's talk about the other side of this thing, because there's a bunch of youngins on 2K. There's a bunch of youngins that play 2K and have their parents' credit card tied into their console so they could just purchase currency all willy-nilly. So let's talk about if you're out there, if you got little Timmy out there purchasing currency to get a wager going, and he drops a stack on currency, and then his mom or dad find out a little later on in the month or whatnot that they just lost a ton of money, and he has to tell them that it was because I was wagering on 2K. And 2K sort of like, they just kind of turned a blind eye to like what was actually going on when wagers, like I said, were the main content for 2K. So I don't understand how 2K could turn like a blind eye, and then all of a sudden, it only takes one kid to lose some money for 2K to kind of be like put in a bad position as a company. So personally, I feel like 2K, I don't know what you guys think. You let me know what you think in the comments section below. But personally, I think 2K as a company and protecting their, what they've created, protecting that in a certain way, although I don't agree with them incorporating this into the minds of the player base in the first place is necessarily right. As a company, I believe they do have to protect themselves. There's licensing, there's laws against gambling. And being that 2K must be under some sort of heat because they did incorporate these ante up and these stage platforms where people wager their virtual currency. And when it comes to, like, you know, asking how do people gain virtual, it'd be quite different. It would be very different if the only way that you can gain virtual currency is through in-game play. But it's a very different scenario when you could actually purchase your virtual currency with IRL money. Then you come into like some hot water there. It's an IRL transaction to gain a lot of virtual currency, and that could lead to some sort of gambling laws that maybe 2K didn't really think fully through. When you got little Timmy out there making purchases for virtual currency and then wagering it away because the number one content for 2K is wagers, that's dangerous territory to be in. So I think 2K made the right decision for making this bannable and banning wagers in general. I don't know what that's going to mean for the state, the future of 2K. The only content that's viable right now for the most part for 2K is complaining about the gameplay and how 2K is not really a viable option. It's just not. You don't have fun when you're on the game. A win feels like a loss when you're on the game. The gameplay mechanics are suffering tremendously. Defense is just wildly goofy. I mean, it just doesn't feel like a good time on 2K. And some people have gotten over this hump with wagers to kind of make it a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more sustainable. But unfortunately now wagers, and I don't even want to say necessarily unfortunately, I just mean unfortunately in the sense of our entertainment. Like, we don't have that entertainment value in wagers anymore to put value on 2K. Where do we go as a community now? How do we adjust to this idea where people are going to be a little bit more fearful to wager on 2K while playing the game? Are we going to go into private matches? At some point, it's going to have to become public. And when it becomes public, people may be getting banned. How do you guys feel about that? You let me know in the comment section below. I understand that I definitely wouldn't want my kids wagering their IRL money on a video game. And I would actually take offense and would probably file some charges against the platform that actually allows this to happen, especially when they do not have like a terms of service for gamers that are not of age for gambling. So that's something to consider, because that's not in the terms of service. 2K does allow minors to get on the game, and they can't prevent minors. As of now, they cannot prevent minors. They would have to change. You see, that there's another aspect that I want to speak about, because 2K would have to make the game mature only. They would have to change it, and that would indeed, if they change it to mature only, that would indeed affect their sales tremendously, and they know they can't fall into the mature only category for 2K, because it would lead to a huge drop in sales if they label their game mature only. And if they want to allow wagers, that's what they would have to do. And then again, not to mention, there would still have to be some level of licensing involved to get this to happen if they allowed wagers to just go down on their platform. Also, again, before we go, I just want to say, hey, it was 2K that first incorporated this into the mind of their player base, and they have to take a certain level of responsibility for incorporating that into the minds of the player base. I don't know what you guys think about that. You let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you on wagers. Should 2K allow wagers to happen? Do you want little Timmy turning into a gambling addict out there? I personally don't agree with the idea of wagers on a video game, especially a broken video game like 2K21 on next gen. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Until the next video, consider dropping a like on the video if you found this video helpful and or informative. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, as we intend to have a ton of 2K21 content coming your way. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.